Hello all of my subscribers, what few of you that is left that watch my videos anyway. This is going to be a rant video, basically improv rant, so expect a lot of ums and pauses and shit of that nature. The title of the video, I haven't really decided on that yet, since I don't decide that until I'm actually typing in the title. So let's just give it a generic headline right now. It's basically going to be me on why I'm giving up on the American manga market and won't really be buying any English manga from now on out. I have a few topics I'm going to try to cover within a somewhat timely manner, to the best of my ability, and here we go with the ums. So yeah. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the quality of manga in America. Most people prefer Japanese manga because they have dust covers, sometimes art on the underside of the dust covers, sometimes alternate art on the covers under the dust covers. It's basically, it feels better. Japanese manga feels better. It feels better made. The paper quality, I will say, doesn't seem to be quite as good as like some of the American releases, like some of the earlier Viz titles and the Viz Signature series. Those have really good paper, and the Viz Bigs, those was all really high quality. But the overall, I'm talking about manga quality today, not the past, today in America. You have Kodansha comics, terrible quality, terrible covers. You can chip up the sides so easily. I was going to buy a Comic Got Kill. I really was. I was wanting to buy that in English. But whenever they released it here, I'm glad I didn't pre-order it, because I looked at the quality in the stores and it's just atrocious quality manga. It's terrible. It chips away, it flakes, it's terrible. Yen Press, I used to like Yen Press. Their quality was decent, almost comparable to a lot of the earlier Viz stuff, but a lot of their newer stuff is getting really shitty quality. The covers are pretty flimsy now, and the paper is just god-awful. Whatever paper they're using now, it's just terrible paper quality. Seven Seas has went downhill, paper quality and cover quality. Viz is kind of here and there. Like, some of the newer titles is garbage quality, and then some other titles, like the newer releases, the newer series that have been brought over, have lesser quality than like the newer Naruto volumes, if that makes any sense. But it's basically series to series, and they're different lines of works, like the Viz Media and Shoujo, just Shonen and Shoujo. Those have pretty standard quality. Then your Signature series has a little bit better quality than some of those, but overall the quality of English manga here in America has just went to shit. And I want to talk about omnibuses. This is another reason I'm giving up. Oh, by the way, I'm studying Japanese again, and probably going to be going to Japan sometime in 2016, and I'm studying Japanese, that way I can start reading Japanese manga and just buy Japanese manga instead, because it's better, in my opinion. So yeah, omnibuses are going crazy here. I really hate Yen because of that. I really hate Kodansha because of that, and even Viz has started doing that. Kaichou wa Maid-sama, or Maid-sama. Tokyo Pop had the rights to the manga. They went defunct here. They left America, went to Germany or whatever, and basically said fuck the Los Angeles market, and we didn't get any more of those. But I thought the title was lost. There was like 8 volumes that came out. Then Viz Media got the rights to it, and I was like, oh yay, goody, we're finally gonna get some more Maid-sama, because it's a series I really wanted to read and collect. And then 2-in-1s. Not the worst quality 2-in-1s, but still pretty bad. I just don't like omnibus. I really don't. There's really no benefit to buying omnibus here, because you'd think the omnibus would make it cheaper, but it's really not. It's really not. Here's a Viz Signature. This is a 2-in-1, $17.99, $9.99 each if it was singles. It's really not much cheaper, and it's terrible quality like this. Look, the spine is bent, and I am very gentle with my manga. I got it new, and it actually came like this, I think. So it's terrible. As a collector, from a collector's standpoint, manga quality here is very bad, and omnibus is not a way you want to go. Omnibus with comic books is great because it's really high quality omnibus, and you take flimsy comic books and you put them in a stronger format. Better paper, better covers, less likely to damage with graphic novels, omnibus. But then you have manga. Manga is a book in itself. It's over 200 pages, most manga. And then whenever you start adding 2, 3, and 4 volumes in one bunch, it's like opening a Bible. You're going to ruin it. It's just terrible. The quality of the paper is worse. And now let me get to Yen Press. This is where Yen Press really started ruining it for me. But before I get to Yen, let's go over 7 Seas, because that's where my hate originally started. I heard they was getting the rights to Freezing. Freezing was one of the first manga I read. I remember reading chapter 1 whenever it was first translated over 5 years ago. And I really liked the manga. I read the first 50 chapters, then I stopped. That way I could buy the Japanese volumes, and I never did, so I never picked up reading it again. But I heard 7 Seas got the rights to it. I was really excited, and then it was announced that it was 2-in-1s. So I held off, and I looked at the quality in the store, since I knew omnibus normally are shitty quality. And lo and behold, it was atrocious quality manga. The cover is flimsy, the pages are terrible, you don't get the cover, you don't get all of the art. It's just bad. It's just bad. Then it got even more atrocious. Man, I'm using that word a lot. With Yen, they got the rights to Prison School, and they released an omnibus with even worse quality than the Freezing manga from 7 Seas. So this was basically the switch. I mean, I already had the Kangoku Gakuin Prison School manga in Japanese. I was buying it in Japanese. I'm going to continue buying it in Japanese now. I was originally excited because I was planning to buy it in English, and then I saw the quality, and it's just bad. I don't recommend it. From a collector's standpoint, I don't really recommend buying any omnibus manga outside of like Vertical. Vertical does decent manga, and Drawn and Quarterly does decent manga. But Yen, Kodansha, Viz, since Viz stopped doing the Viz Bigs, it's been pretty bad quality. Those was really top of the line. I can't bash Viz for that. Those was really good made manga. But as far as everything that's out now, I cannot recommend anyone here, if people were to come up to me at a convention or at a store, I cannot personally recommend them to buy that manga. I would recommend them to learn Japanese and import the manga beforehand, before I would recommend them to buy the shitty omnibus that is being released here right now. It's just terrible. I would recommend them to spend years learning a new language and buy cheaper manga. Cheaper manga. Way cheaper, like half the price of our manga here, sometimes more than half the price. And if you get it used, way cheaper. But anyway, I would recommend them to do that instead of buying the shitty works that's out here right now. And this is going into another topic. I've been buying Japanese manga for a while now. I haven't been able to speak or read Japanese for a while. That's why I'm learning it now. But I would buy them to support this series that was not being brought over. And that's one of my major gripes with the community and the industry here. It's just really mainstream. We don't get a lot of obscure or lesser known series over here. And a lot of our series is based off of light novels. And I don't even like the manga to light novels that much, like Kore wa Zombie Desu ka, Is This a Zombie? The anime was good. I started buying the manga, reading the manga, and it's a manga that I don't like. The same with Haganai, Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukanai. I like the anime. The anime is actually more risque than the manga, and it's based off a light novel. So I really don't get the reason why we're getting so many light novel series over here. But that's the point. because they're based off from the anime. And whenever the anime comes out, the publishers here try very rigorously to get the manga. Or they will hold off releasing it, print, until the anime is made. And I'm going to get to that point in a minute. But one of the reasons I'm not buying any more English manga, it's a huge list of reasons. But another one of the reasons is just not good series. A lot of series I read, my favorite types of series is love comedies, seinen love comedies, seinen manga, and we just don't really get those over here. They don't sell well here. Most of them do not get animes, so the publishers don't give a shit. They don't want them over here. They want something that's going to turn a profit instead of releasing something that the more hardcore fans here would enjoy. The industry here is so anime biased that it is almost impossible for a manga itself to get popular here without an anime. If you take the manga fans, or the manga dominant fans like me, you put them in a section, and then you put the anime fans, you see the anime fans here, it's a huge, huge difference between them and the manga fans. Anime fans, there are tons of them. There are people that don't read manga that watch anime. There are people that don't even really know what anime is that watch anime. You think it's hard to find anime fans? It is not hard to find anime fans. You can go into your local superstore and talk to half the people there, and I guarantee you, if you talk to 200 people, you'll probably find 20 or more that watch anime. I've found this out by working jobs, working in the workforce and at companies. And people that you just would not expect to watch anime, watch anime. I'm talking about like huge black guy about my height, about 6'1", 6'2", maybe 200-300 pounds, commercial driver, hardcore sports fan, looks like a thug gangster. He has that all YOLO life going on with him. He's an anime fan. He watches anime on Hulu and Netflix. So if you think it's hard to find anime fans, it is not hard to find anime fans. Hard to find someone that reads manga or prefers manga. Those people over here are very few and far between. So that is the reason why we do not get the lesser known series here. If it doesn't have an anime, it's not going to sell as well here, and we're probably not going to get it here. So as far as the series I personally enjoy, I'm not saying I don't like the mainstream series. I like almost every mainstream series that's been released, including the big name titles, Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Attack on Titan. I like all those. But my favorite type of manga, in general, I would say is love comedies. I used to like shonen manga a lot more, and due to that I own a lot more shonen manga. But I prefer love comedies now, and seinen manga. So that's why I buy them in Japanese, because they do not come out here. And that's a reason for me learning Japanese and going just to buy Japanese manga. Because if I'm buying the manga like that, that's just as cheap, that would be cheaper than what it would be if it came out here, why not buy the shonen manga, which is even cheaper than the seinen and love comedy manga, in Japanese, and save even more? So yeah, that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons I am not buying English manga anymore. I want to go on to say some of the series that I will still be buying. I will still be buying the older stuff that comes out here, like Vertical, the stuff they release, like the Tezuka stuff. I'm not sure how hard that will be to get in Japanese, and the Shigeru Mizuki stuff that Drawn and Quarterly is putting out. The Yoshihiro Tatsumi works by Drawn and Quarterly. I'm not even sure how hard it would be to get a manga from the 70s in Japan, especially a more obscure manga with it by a more obscure mangaka like that in Japan, or probably won't even be able to import it without a lot of trouble. Probably have to find it used somewhere. Anyway, now on to the next topic. Digital bias. This is probably the biggest reason I hate Viz. And one of the, I would say maybe one or two on the tier of why I'm quitting buying Japanese I mean English manga, and just going to be buying Japanese manga. Can you tell me definitively that Viz was going to release One Punch Man and Food Wars if it didn't get an anime? If I recall, to the best of my ability, it was not... They had the rights to those manga. They had the rights to those manga before the anime for either of those series was released. But they were digital only. If my memory serves correctly, and I'm not saying my memory is perfect, I do not believe either of those series was announced to be released print until after the anime was announced. You see, the reason why they waited on that, even though those series would have sold well, they would have sold well, but they waited until the anime was going to be made, not brought over here, put in subtitles for all of the seasonal fans, was because they wanted to cash in on those series when the anime was made. I think they knew anime for those series was going to be made at some point, and that's why they got the rights to them and was releasing it digitally. And I knew those series was very likely to get an anime. So they was just waiting to cash in whenever the anime was being made. Which is, I cannot fault them for that. That's good business practice. But that alienates and pisses the print collectors like me off. You're pissing off the people that are going to buy not just the anime stuff, your mainstream stuff, but we're going to go out of our ways to buy the Case Closed series, the Hikaru no Go series, the Black Cat series, your Shaman King series, your Excel Saga. The list goes on. You're alienating and excluding us. I know we're not a big market. You're not going to get near as much money out of the few hardcore manga fans as you will from the seasonal anime watchers that decide to go and pick up the manga now that the anime is over. I know we're not going to give you that much money, but with you excluding us, you know how many of them are actually going to go out and buy a series outside of the mainstream and popular series? Maybe 1 in 5 or 1 in 10. It's not going to be a high number. But instead, you're going to piss off the people like me from going out. You're going to piss off the people like me and cause me to go completely Japanese and not buy your mainstream stuff, but also not support your obscure stuff. Which, again, I cannot fault you because it is good business practice what you guys are doing. That's why Viz is pretty much on top of the manga market. They know what they're doing. They've been around since the 80s. They know how to market stuff. They know how to make money off of it. But that's one of the reasons. I hate you, Viz. I really do. You piss off people like me and cause us to go Japanese. Which, I have to thank you for that, because if it wasn't for you, Yin, and Kodansha, you guys are the big three. I really hate all of you. I quit following you guys on Twitter. I quit following you guys on Facebook. I do not want to see any news from you guys, what you're getting, when you're releasing it. None of that. I'm still buy Viz's anime because anime is still cheaper here to buy than buying it in Japanese. So you can expect to get my money from that, but I ain't going to be buying any more manga from you guys. I was going to buy Spice and Wolf because I really like that series from you, Yin, but I'm not even going to buy that now. So yeah, that's 3 of my main reasons. Shitty quality manga with Omnibus. Omnibus falls into that category. It's just shitty. Not good series. Well, it is good series, just not series I want to buy and watch. And lastly, digital bias, which is a good business practice. I really don't like the way the industry is going here, and that's one of the reasons I'm going Japanese. I really think so. Anyway, that's all I have to talk about. It's been a rather long video. I'll be back with another video sometime. I don't really know when. It's whenever I feel like making these videos and have the time to do it. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the rant. These always last longer than I intend them to. Thank you. Later.